What's this? Mion, what's with this stone on top of the newspapers? It's in the way. There was a pile of newspapers on the floor of the entrance, and there was a large rock on top of them. I didn't understand why something like that was here, and that is kind of weird. Rena noticed me looking at it questioningly and giggled. Rena, do you know what this is? Some kind of good luck charm? Ha 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 ha. If you don't really know, then feel free to move it out of the way and put your shoes there. Ha 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 ha. Is it a trap? Keiji-kun, there's a nest of swallows right above that stone. Huh? Oh, you're right. This house is for people, but swallows still come in here without permission and make nests. It must be like a tradition for them. Whenever spring comes, they always make a nest here. It's kind of annoying though. In other words, it's a sign not to take off your shoes here because swallow poop could end up in them. I can't help but laugh at this silly contrivance. My laughter naturally spread to the others. Actually, it's kind of a good way to not make people with stuff there. Actually, if someone didn't know, it'd be kind of funny though still. A really long time ago, the Sonosaki family apparently cultivated silkworms. Our ancestors would get all worked up over exterminating the swallows. When you think of it that way, maybe this is our just desserts. Anyway, come on in. Surely if you're cultivating silkworms, you keep them indoors away from the outside threats. But anyway, the inside of the house wasn't very bright at all. It was dimly lit, in fact, but mysteriously I could still feel an elegance to the place. Mion seemed to want more Mion seemed to want a more modern building, but traditional houses like this aren't bad either. You're kidding, right? There's a terrible draft and the winters are freezing. Don't go making my house into property of cultural significance and getting in the way of the renovations. Got it? I wonder how old the house must be. What I want most is a house like yours, Kei-chan. I'm pretty jealous of it. It seems like it would be warm in the winter. Oh, but snowfall seems like it would be a problem. Snowfall's a problem? Does Higurashi get that much snow? Our latitude is south of Kanto, isn't it? Isn't this region warm? You don't know, Keiichi-kun? Hinamizawa is an area that gets heavy snowfall. When we get a lot, everyone gets buried. Sometimes you can't even get out of your house. That must be terrible. Sometimes your car gets totally buried too, and you can't find where it is. I wasn't aware of that. Hinamizawa was that bad a place in the winter? Thank God this story is happening in the summer. Come to think of it, my dad, he said something like, this place got plenty of snow so we could have fun building igloos. Still, your front door getting buried, not being able to find your car, that's way too much snow. You remember from geography class, right? The western side of Japan gets cold winds from Asia. We're different from those softies protected by the mountains, nice and warm by the Pacific Ocean. I'm totally okay being a softie and nice and warm. I hate the cold. We'll have to have a training camp to get Kei-chan used to the cold this winter then. No way, there's no way that's happening. I hate the cold and I hate training camps too, and I hate them even more put together. Mion laughed more uproariously than she ever had, then told us she'd bring out some tea and left her seat for a moment. Still, there's a lot of fun things to do in the winter. I bet our club will have a blast. Our club continuing activities through the winter sounds totally horrible. Like swimming in the cold or marching in the snow. When did we turn into Mount Redhorn? Yeah, there are definitely a lot of tough punishment games for the winter season. I imagine one of them is stand outside in the cold for like a few minutes in like minimal clothing. One time she made us have a Rio Carnival in the schoolyard while yes, you want to be that, exactly that. In the schoolyard while snow was falling. I see, the terror of our club cared not for the season. The victor would be decided by who could best adapt to the winter-only events. We do snowball fights and shaved ice eating contests and treasure hunts in the snow. Wait, why is everything outside? Why can't we play tabletop games in a nice warm room while it's snowing? Okay, Keiichi-kun, if you're saying things like that, then you're gonna lose a lot this winter. We'll have lots of punishment games, and Rena won't lose. How? Don't give me that how. I settle things with a cross chop to the head. Ha 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 ha. You're sure having fun. Our walls aren't very thick, so be careful not to go flying through, okay? Yeah, they're all paper doors, I guess. Paper walls, maybe. The paper sliding door opened, and Mion returned with a pot and a complete tea set. Do you want some sesame seeds on your rice? Sorry, we don't have much in the way of bean paste or other good stuff. It's okay, it's okay. I hate when the music just cuts out like that. We didn't really come here to drink tea anyway. And with those words, the smile disappeared from Rena's face. Ah, she did it. That one careless statement reminded us of what we nearly been able to forget. I wanted to enjoy this peaceful time for a little longer, but we put an end to that with those honestly careless words. When she noticed the smile disappear from Rena's expression, Mion too changed hers. It was as if the cheerful air, that was like a warm spring day until a moment ago, had slipped through the cracks in the paper door, and altogether disappeared. There was no point in regretting it now. We did not come here today to chat and enjoy ourselves. Mion silently poured the tea. During that time, both Rena and I sat kneeling without uttering a word. Here you are. Drink up. We couldn't even mutter a word of acknowledgement at those natural words of courtesy. There's no poison in it or anything. Do you distrust me that much? That's upsetting. Mion gave a bitter smile at that and let her shoulders droop. God, just sitting in silence sipping tea. Oh God. That must be horrible, that. We all remained silent. We remained silent, hoping that someone else would speak up first. That was, however, the one thing we didn't want to do, so we sat for a long time. At last, Mion smiled scornfully and opened her mouth to speak. Hey now, Kei-chan, Rena. You're the guests. Didn't you come here for something? If you don't speak up first, this old man won't know what to do. Ren and I exchanged glances. We both resigned ourselves. Rena opened her mouth to speak first, so I stopped her. Keiichi-kun, it's okay. I needed to come here. Let me talk first. Okay, I understand. What would Kei-chan have to tell me? Please give me your daughter's hand in marriage, maybe? Ha 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 ha. Can't do that. My little Rena and Kei-chan aren't meant for each other. Go wash your face with miso soup and try again later. Afterwards, I thought her mean remarks were Mion's own way of showing consideration. Mion had said those mean things in a totally normal voice, and it drained the tension from my shoulders. Mion, first, I have something to apologize for. You do? What for? Mion pretended that she didn't know what I was talking about, but I clearly gotten my point across. Well, on the night of the Watanagashi, the ritual storehouse behind the shrine, I went in there. I could see Mion's expression immediately becoming harder. I knew it was somewhere I wasn't supposed to go, but it was just supposed to be a little bit of exploration. It didn't mean anything by it. Even so, I still shouldn't have done it. So I apologize. I'm sorry. To display my dearest sincerity, I pressed my forehead to the table. I meant it as if my way of procrastinate myself. I figured it wouldn't feel sincere enough if I raised my head right away, so I left it there on the table for a while. Mion didn't say anything. With my face down, I couldn't tell what sort of expression Mion had. Only the voices of the Kisiders filled the room. Mixed with them, I could hear the sound of the clock ticking. That was all. When I started to struggle to breathe from having my head down for so long, Mion told me to stop. You got me there. I didn't expect you to pitch it to me straight. You've got me on the ropes. I looked to see that Mion's face was calm, but she was smiling faintly. If you understand that even though it was only a casual explanation for you, Kei-chan, that there are a lot of people who think it's no laughing matter, then it's okay. There's an old saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. It's been days since then. It may be too late, but I apologize. What I did was wrong. Please forgive me. I could feel pitiful tears welling up within me. If I had done this sooner, maybe nothing terrible would have happened. It's okay. If you know what you did was bad, then that's enough, right? Mion spoke like it was someone else's problem, and I wasn't happy about it. Mi-chan, Keiji-kun is apologizing seriously. I think maybe you should respond seriously as well. I am being serious though. Do I not look serious to you, Rena? You don't. I know it's given her tit for tat, and so the room's atmosphere quickly began to grow sharper. She was right. Even though I came here to speak from the heart like this, it felt like she hasn't been taking this seriously. Obviously, Rena isn't fond of that. Keiji-kun, you can get up now. Let's tell her everything. That looks like what Mi-chan wants too. I had known it would turn out like this from the beginning. I hadn't come here prepared for that. Hadn't I come here prepared for that? I mustered my willpower and bit my lip. Mion, you called Rika-chan and Sakuto the day before last, right? I don't remember doing so. If you have a reason to think so, would you let me hear it? It was evening, before dinner time. Rika-chan should have come here, bringing a big bottle of soy sauce, to have you share some with her. Mion was trying to keep from showing any reaction, but it didn't miss her eyelid twitching just a little bit. Why do you think that? It's not hard to understand. Mi-chan, you saw it, didn't you? Rika-chan's room. Mion put a finger on her forehead and acted like she was thinking. There was chilled tofu, but no soy sauce. Plus the big bottle of soy sauce that should have been under the sink was nowhere to be found. Ha 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 ha. What? Is that why she would have come here? Mion, drop the act. You wrote it yourself on the notice, didn't you? That you share your soy sauce. Mion scratched her head. That's a devious look you have now, Mion. I heard her ever so faintly click her tongue. It was as though we found she purposely given too little change to a servant. That's all I could feel from her. Then Mi-chan, you, Rika-chan, you hid her. Rena hesitated for a moment. I could tell that she didn't want to use the word erased, and that she was struggling to find another word. That was really supposed to be the end, wasn't it? For you, anyway. What are you talking about? You didn't foresee that Rika-chan would tell Sakuto-chan that she was going to your house, did you, Mi-chan? Then Sakuto-chan called. Might Rika-chan be imposing on you? Yeah, probably just like that. Ha 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 ha. You sound just like her. Mi-chan, you were in a bit of a bind then, because Suo knew that Rika-chan had come here. So you decided to lure Sakuto-chan here too. Lure her out? Like how, I wonder? Mion prodded Mion on, as if trying to get to the good part of an interesting story. I, however, knew I had been watching Mion change the whole time. She was restlessly twirling her fingers. She had clearly lost her calm. Of course, it was really a slight thing, and only I, who had been watching her this whole time, would have known. Mion was panicking. What Rena was saying must have been a bullseye. It probably went like this. Sakuto, I actually made too much dinner today, so why not come over and eat? Rika-chan came earlier and already ate some. Something like that. Scratch. Mion's nails dug into her knee. There's no recording of the phone conversation or anything, so how do you know that much? I know because the dinner that Sakuto-chan made for the two of them was plastic wrapped in their refrigerator and hadn't been touched. For a few moments, Mion's face was frozen in utter amazement. She looked like she couldn't believe that this person in front of her was Rena. With just that to go on, how did you even guess what we said over the phone? It's a long explanation, so I'll get to the point. The contents of that refrigerator provided a vivid account of what you said over the phone when you lured her out. Mion's jaw remained on the floor. That was the only way I could describe her face. That's... I had no idea such an incredible detective right next to me the whole time. Hold on. I had no idea I had such an incredible detective right next to me the whole time. I can't believe you figured out everything down to the phone call conversation just from what was inside the fridge. You got me there. You got me. You got me. As if a dam had burst, Mion convulsed into laughter. Her laughter, though, definitely didn't make us want to laugh as well. Mion grew tired of her dumb laughter, heaved a big sigh and scratched her head. It almost seemed like Mion had lost the detective punishment game for the club or something, and her punishment had been decided. Oh, how fun that would have been if it were true. An incredible detective. Mi-chan, you're the one who guessed that. Oh, you're the one who guessed what Oshi-san told us. He called me an incredible detective too. As soon as she heard Oshi-san's name, Mion's eyes began to display panic more clearly, so that anyone would be able to tell. Mion, the police have suspected you for a long time now. Oshi-san's officers have had the house under observation so that they could break in at any time. Mion's attempt to find calm, but it looked like she was having a hard time with that. Part of her couldn't believe that the police had her surrounded, and she closely examined Rena's facial expression. However, she couldn't detect a hint of falsehood. Finally, Mion seemed to accept the fact that the police were encircling the house. The mayor, Mi-chan, too? Was Tomitake-san and Takano-san you as well? Mion didn't answer our rapid-fire questions. I could clearly see impatience in her eyes, which were still finding calm. At last, Mion, who had been sitting there lazily, readjusted her cushion and sat herself upright. At that moment, the atmosphere in the room completely changed. Mion's expression also changed. The impatience and wonderment in her expression disappeared, and she became so solemn you would think she was about to conduct a tea ceremony. I could sense it. It was now, in this moment. Mion had ceased to be Mion, but had changed into Mion Sonozaki, the current heir to the Sonozaki house. That solemn atmosphere about her was clearly abnormal, and was entirely different from that of the Mion I knew. Now I could believe it. Now I could believe that she was the young leader who commanded the entire Sonozaki clan. Mion quietly placed both her hands on the tatami mat and gave a beautiful, elegant bow as if this really were a tea ceremony, and named herself. We meet for the first time. I am the current heir to the Sonozaki house. My name is Mion. Mion's movement was so elegant they could cut, and we couldn't even answer her. All Rena and I could do was watch, baffled at her actions, which we could never imagine the normal her doing. I would like to welcome you to the Sonozaki main house today. I will greet you in place of our leader Oryu. It seems as though you have various things you would like to ask. If I can be of any assistance, then I would like to answer without concealing anything. What? What did Mion just say? Mion said she would answer anything we asked. There was a strong light of resolve in her eyes. It really... Alright, if we ask anything then? I shall tell you everything I know. That is why you have come here today after all. Rena and I exchanged glances. There was a mountain of things we wanted to ask Mion. However, we hesitated for a moment on what we should ask her first. The first question. Renner gave was extremely abstract, but it was the answer everyone wanted to know right away. Why would you do this? That was what I wanted to ask as well. Why would you do this? That didn't go for Rika-chan and Sakuto. It went for the mayor, Takano-san and Tomitake-san as well. No, even further back for all the incidents that had been occurring every year. For a little while, Mion couldn't respond. Right when we realized that the question was too vague and tried to put it into more concrete terms, we finally opened her mouth to speak. To answer that question will take some time. If that is acceptable, however, then I would by all means like you to hear it. He spoke clearly. He spoke with clarity that a grandmother might use when telling a story from a long time ago. Do you know that Hinamizawa village used to be called Onigafuchi village? Renner nodded lightly and shot me a glance asking me if I did. I returned her nod. Hinamizawa was once called Onigafuchi village, yes. I heard all about it that night from Takano-san in the ritual storehouse. They firmly believed that demon blood ran through their veins and cut off all contact with the outside world. They were worshipped by those in the villages at the foot of the mountains and treated like transcendents, those capable of magic. That's right. Our ancestors in Onigafuchi village were proud transcendents descended from the demons. Those in the village at the foot of the mountains worshipped and honoured them. Nevertheless, had all decayed with the end of the Tokugawa era. The black ships arrived. The era of the samurai ended. The era of national isolation ended. And the tradition of worshipping Onigafuchi village quickly disappeared. Those things that lingered from the past were all to be detested. That was the kind of era it became. That's funny, I had the window cleaner come up then so I couldn't speak out loud when he was cleaning the windows. The Meiji era began and the name of Onigafuchi village with its long history was forcibly changed to Hinamizawa village. I heard the Meiji government strongly wished to raise the old customs. The abolishment of feudal domains and establishment of prefectures. An era had begun, seeing Japan sprinting up the stairs that were beyond their means to try and reach the same level of the rest of the world. All things in the Western style were to be extolled, while all traditional things were to be scorned. That was the sort of era it was. Our ancestors in Onigafuchi village were proud transcendents descended from the demons. Onigafuchi village disappeared in a flash. Alas, Japan, provoked by the great European powers colonizing countries in Asia one by one, began a policy to increase its wealth and military power, so that it could stand as a global power in its own right. Conscription began, and they won war after war, the first Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War, and until the Pacific War broke out. They recklessly climbed the staircase towards modernization.